Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith. Today, I'm talking about Corpsing by Kayleigh Marie Edwards from Sinister Horror Company. Kayleigh Marie Edwards is the founder of Happy Goat Horror, which is a horror review site, blog site. There's some essays and lists of, best of this and that. And she's also the author of these 8 short stories. The too long didn't watch version of this would be, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really liked this book. It's incredibly entertaining. As I said, 8 short stories. And let's just take a look. It starts with Bitey Bachman, which is about a zombie outbreak in a mental hospital and an orderly that works there who has a zombie outbreak plan. This is a very fun story with a very unexpected ending. Bits and Bobs. It's about a guy that wants to work at a body farm. In case anybody doesn't know, a body farm is a place where law enforcement agencies take corpses, set up fake crime scenes for trainees to, train at. So this guy wants to get a job there, doesn't get it, shenanigans ensue. Siren is about a young girl who is being forced to move because her parents have split up. She'd rather stay with her dad. She's forced to move with her mom. She's very angry, lonely, but there's a lake out in the back, and there seems to be a little girl in the lake who's going to befriend this angry, lonely little girl. And again, shenanigans ensue. This one is a little darker. The stories are getting a little darker now. Now you see them. It's very short, very horrific. That's all I'm going to say. Skin is about a teenage girl who is bitten by a very strange-looking spider, and things go awry. And there's things about the relationship with her boyfriend and with her father, and this spider bite that is not getting better. Again, a very harrowing, terrific tale. Then things lighten up again with S-Day. This one's relatively short, and all I will say is maybe, just maybe, you don't want God to answer your prayers. Barry's Last Day, excuse me, is about a guy who's basically being forced to retire. He doesn't want to have to spend all day at home with his family, although he's not really happy with the people he works with. And things happen. And then finally, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, which is about a family who needs a last-minute Christmas tree and the things that happen because of that. So these are all very entertaining stories. I enjoyed every one of them. I really hope that Kayleigh Marie Edwards maybe puts out another short story collection or something, because these are fun, well-written, interesting characters, interesting twists on stories that maybe we think we know. Not a lot to say, or a lot more to say, because, as usual, short story collection, don't want to spoil anything, so I can't talk too much about it. Well written, very entertaining. I love the range from very funny to very horrific. So I think that might be all I have to say about Corpsing by Kayleigh Marie Edwards. I highly recommend it. And as far as a question for this video, when you're reading a short story collection, how do you feel about a mix of tones in the stories? Do you want them all to be just straight horror? Or if there's comedy in it or lightheartedness, would you prefer they're all that way? Do you enjoy a mix of styles? And I'm basically talking about a single author collection, but I suppose you could apply this to anthologies as well. But what are your thoughts? What are your feelings on that? Maybe you don't like lighthearted or funny horror at all. Uh, Me, obviously, I think I enjoy really horrific stuff. You know, I read extreme horror and splatterpunk, but I also like funny stuff. You know, Jeff Strand writes some absolutely hilarious stuff while also writing horrific things. I have anthologies that are basically all horror comedy. There's a new one, Bite Size Razor Blade Candy. I don't remember what it's called. I haven't picked it up yet, but it's comedy horror. Um, so I'm a fan, and I don't mind if it's mixed as long as it's not super jarring. But I mean, it is this in particular. You know, it's a collection of short stories by a single author. I don't want all the stories to be the same. Well, in any collection, I don't want all the stories to be the same. Um, but unless, you know, it's like billed as this is an extreme horror anthology, let's say, but then some of it's just this sort of lighthearted fare. If it doesn't fit the anthology, even if it's a great story, well, I mean, it's still a great story, so I can't complain about that. But it it's jarring, I think. But generally, I like it. I like eclectic things, or I have eclectic tastes, I suppose. But what about you? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media. On Twitter, it's at Ronan5757. On Instagram, I'm Eric Smith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. I forgot to mention that on Instagram, I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals. That's all I have for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.